Next question. This is asking on partition coefficient. So it's not always, it's not a very popular concept, but again, it is in the A-level specification. So, you know, if you do decide to skip a topic and that topic comes up, you cannot blame the examiner, you see, because, you know, they are telling you should know every single thing in the specification, right? So what do you understand by partition coefficient? So we know it's an equilibrium constant. So it is an equilibrium constant. But what does it tell you? It tells you the solubility, okay, relating to the solubility of a substance. But we talk about the solubility of a substance in one solvent molecule, in one solvent system, relative to another, relative to its solubility in another solvent, where the two solvents are immiscible, okay, do not mix. So you will get two layers, okay, and this will be true at a particular temperature, just like any equilibrium constant. Temperature, I can't even spell temperature. Okay, so equilibrium constant will be constant as long as temperature are constant. All right. So this is ammonia, solubility in water and organic solvent. Obviously, it's soluble in water because of hydrogen bonding, and it's soluble in organic solvent depending on whether your organic solvent is polar or non-polar. All right. You have this trichloromethane. So there's CCl3H, okay, and blah blah blah. Calculate the partition coefficient of ammonia between trichloromethane and water. So this one is mentioned first. So that means our equation will be NH3 in CHCl3. Trichloromethane is mentioned first, so it's on the right hand side of the equilibrium. And you have NH3 in water. Okay, you do a titration, and it says that in the trichloromethane layer, so this is the organic layer, and this is the aqueous layer containing water, containing organic compound. All right, so this is the concept called extraction. You try to extract the NH3 into one of these two systems, yeah? We need to find the solubility of NH3 in this. We need to find the mole of NH3 in this, the mole of NH3 in this, okay? Each of these is NH3 reacting with HCl. So thinking about the equation, that will give you NH4Cl. That is a balanced equation. 1 mole of this reacts with 1 mole of it to give you NH4 plus and Cl minus. So the equation is balanced like that. Okay, the mole of NH3 over the mole of HCl is 1:1. Okay, I like to use fractions, as you have seen in my other tutorial videos. You can watch the topical playlist from topic 1 if you are still very rusty on your consistent method to do your mole calculation from the balance equation and then the actual amount here. Okay, so this is to do with solution chemistry. This is 25 cm³ of the sample contain ammonia. So 25.0 times the 10 to the minus 3 times the concentration of ammonia in the organic. So I want the concentration of the ammonia in the organic layer. And then that is the mole of the acid. So the NH3 organic is just all of these move up there and this one move down there. Okay, so 13.0 times 10 to the minus 3 times 0.1 divided by 25 times 10 to the minus 3, you will get 0.052. That is concentration. So that is the concentration of NH3 in the organic layer. You could do the same thing for the aqueous layer. So I don't want to write the whole thing again, but I hope you can see the NH3 aqueous is going to be the mole of the acid is 12.5 times 10 to the minus 3 times 0.100. So there's the mole of the acid. Go up there, divided by the volume of the aqueous layer. What else? Yep, that will give me the concentration of the NH3 in the aqueous layer. So 12.5 times 10 to the minus 3 times 0.1 divided by 10 to the minus 3. I get 0.125 mole per dm cube. So guess what? Kpc is going to be the concentration of NH3 in CHCl3 divided by the concentration of NH3 in water. Equilibrium constant, right? Whatever is on the right over the concentration on whatever is on the left. So that's going to be 0.052 divided by 0.125. And I got 0.416, and there's no unit because mole per dm cube divided by mole per dm cube, they cancel out exactly, so there's no unit. Okay? Now butylamine, which is not ammonia, so just now you have H and NH2, so now you have C4H9 and NH2. It's also soluble in both water and organic solvent. How would the partition of butylamine between trichloromethane and water? Again, this is mentioned first. So we are looking at a system such as this, where we will have butylamine in trichloromethane, and it will have butylamine in water on the left hand side. How would that value compare? You have all this bit, which is hydrocarbon chain. If you do biology, you will have come across this being hydrophobic. These are like the petroleum section. You know why oil doesn't mix with water, right? Because it's got a lot of these hydrocarbon chain. They are non-polar. That makes them hydrophobic. They don't dissolve in water. They don't form hydrogen bond with water. Okay? So you have these compared to just hydrogen. These are going to make it even less soluble in water. Okay? So I'm going to explain first. The C4H9 hydrocarbon chain is non-polar or hydrophobic. It makes C4H9NH2 less soluble in water and more soluble in organic solvent, because you can interact via van der Waals with the organic solvent, such as the CHCl3. Oops, I should use a bracket there. So we are going to help to solubilize the amine, the butylamine, in the organic solvent compared to in water. So we will help to move the equilibrium to the right for butylamine. Therefore we can expect the Kpc value for C4H9NH2 to be bigger than for NH3. So NH3, you see the value is lesser than 1 because based on our equilibrium that we've been set up, lesser than 1 means it favors left hand side, because that is why you can form hydrogen bond with water, right? NH3 and water. There's your AS chemistry. You draw dipoles, you draw lone pair between on the nitrogen, and then you can form hydrogen bond with the hydrogen of water, and vice versa as well. It favors the left hand side. Butylamine, due to this, is going to make it non-polar. On that section, it's going to help it to solubilize in the organic solvent, and becoming less soluble in water is going to push the equilibrium to the right, and we're expecting a bigger value therefore for butylamine compared to ammonia. Hope that makes sense there. So in this last, we have the question. You are asked to compare the basicity of this butanamide, which is essentially an amide. In an amide, you have a C double bond or NH system, and in this C double bond or NH system, it's not that obvious, but this lone pair on the nitrogen of the amide actually get delocalized into this carbon sp2 center, and when they get delocalized into this pi framework, it becomes less available to accept a proton, and this is in comparison with a butylamine. So butylamine 1 2 3 4 as discussed in the earlier bit of the question, and they will be appended to this tutorial video, of course. That's why you see these are empty there, but in the actual tutorial video you will have these having been done prior to this question. So we're going to explain why in terms of how available is the lone pair on the nitrogen. This is a positive inductive effect because alkyl electron donating groups, they are positively donating the electrons via this positive inductive effect. Okay, so what we're saying is in butanamide is actually neutral. So we consider amide to be neutral. I think it's stated in the syllabus that amides are neutral, and the reason is because the lone pair on the nitrogen is not available. It's actually delocalized into the carbon oxygen pi framework. So essentially it gets delocalized away, therefore less available to accept proton. And when it becomes less available to accept protons, and this is compared to these electron donating groups, that makes this lone pair on the nitrogen much more available. But it's 1 mark, it's 2 lines, so I don't think I should write any more than just what I have written. That should be enough. And that's the end of that 7 mark question there.